Yes, Lord. Subscribe to Serving It Raw and let's keep it
all the way funky, uncut, raw. Serving it raw just like my boy Gutta Caine.
Yes, Lord. You done tapped into Serving It Raw podcast. I'm your host, Gutta Caine, the Gutta Man, the Pyrex Iron Chef. And I got a special guest today. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
My name is Brittany Branay. I am the podcast host for Serving It Raw. Mine is SERVING. And so, yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So, before we start with anything, any topics, anything, I want you to give, my listeners and my viewers how you came up with your Serving It Raw and what your podcast is about.
Okay, so I just wanted it to be like authentic. When I decided to come up with a podcast, I'm like, I don't want to lie to my audience. I don't want to make it seem like my life is something that is not. Like, I want to bring people on here who are going to like just be very transparent. And I tell them that every time they come on my show. Like, you got to be transparent. You got to be real. You got to tell the truth. This is the only reason why I'm putting you on here, because I know your story and I know it's going to help somebody. So that's where I came up with it, because I want people to understand and see that they're not the only people that's going through stuff. So I want people to be transparent when they be on my show. I want people to be able to learn. I want people to heal from my show. And I just want to laugh, have fun, cry if we need to cry, everything. So I just want all emotions out there and just be very transparent when they come on my show.
Got it. Now, how did you come up with the name? Like, what made you choose that? Because just for people to know, we're on totally different. We're in different states. We never met each other. We don't know each other. Any of that stuff. You're in Georgia. I'm in Washington State.
Man, I had a lot of names, and like when I thought about being transparent and just being honest, I thought about just rawness, like just being your authentic self. And so that's where I came up with Serving It Raw.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hey, I'm glad I was able to connect with you. Great minds think alike. So yeah. So some of the topics that we decided we was going to talk about is one that I know people been talking to me about constantly, which is, should we still listen to RKelly and Diddy's music? So I want to know what's your thoughts on that. I'll let you go first on that one, and then I kind of give my thoughts on how I feel about it and my perspective.
That topic is so hard for me. One, because I love RKelly. Mm-hmm. I love RKelly. His music is just like, and I can't stop listening to it. I'm not even gonna lie and say that I have canceled him, because I have not canceled RKelly.
That's the king of R&B right there.
Yes, like I cannot say that. I don't really listen to PDiddy like that as much as I, from his old music, but like I just don't think, like, we're human. You know what I'm saying? We are human, and we all make mistakes, and I'm not saying that their mistakes are what they have done is, it's okay. That's not what I'm saying, because what they have done is not okay. But I do feel like, again, we're human. We make mistakes. And at some point, in time, I just don't feel like that should be canceled. I don't.
I'm with you on that one. I feel like it comes down to your perspective. It comes down to everybody's perspective, because if you're going to say, okay, we're not going to listen to RKelly's music anymore, we're not going to listen to Diddy's music or the people that Diddy has put on, then at that point you got to stop looking at the Cosby Show because of the situation with Bill Cosby. You might as well stop listening to anything that Dr. Dre produced, because he had the situation where he slapped D. Barnes. You got Morgan Wallen, who is a famous country artist right now. He, even though he's been apologetic about his situation, but he threw the N-word out there a few times and stuff, and then apologized about it. But does that, do we stop listening to his music? You have Michael Jackson. You know, even though there was nothing that came out as far as saying that he molested or touched any kids, he admitted to sleeping in the bed with kids that was not his own. Okay, and
Right.
stuff like that. So I just feel like and then you have movies that were done by by producers and stuff. So do we just stop watching movies? Do we stop listening to music? And I feel like you need to be able to separate the art from the artist. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I really don't like how they try to intertwine those two.
One thing that bothers me is we pick, like you said, we pick and choose who we want to cancel. And some of the situations can be, and again, too, for both, let me say for Diddy, we've only heard one side of the story. We haven't even listened to Diddy. We ain't heard nothing, that Diddy had to say. We don't know if anybody else is involved. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. I mean, even with stuff like that, you got to look at too, like we never know what these people have been through. Why are they doing the things that they have done? You know what I'm saying? Could it be like something that has came up from their childhood? And that's not an excuse, but at the same time, you still have to realize when people have not dealt with situations that have happened in their childhood, things happen. You know what I'm saying? And they deal with it in certain ways when they grow up. So as an adult, so and now of course therapy has become okay for Black people, but that's not for all Black people because all Black people still don't agree with therapy. And people are still not receiving what they need to receive or have not like really dealt with things that we have kind of suppressed, as kids and stuff like that. Because even though we do have therapy, like I know I had a therapist, it's certain things we still don't talk about, or certain things we still have not like narrowed down to figure out why this triggers us or why we do these things or why, our behavior is this way. So while we're looking at, oh, he did this or they did this or whatever, can we like try to figure out why are they doing these type of things? Yeah. And can we listen to their side and see, because yes, let's listen to their side.
No, go ahead and spit it out, get it out, get it out.
And I'm not like I am a ladies' lady. Like I support the ladies. I love women and stuff like that. But I do know that sometimes us as women, we do play that victim role, okay, a lot, and it's some things that we could have agreed to. And because things are out and we don't want to seem like, oh, you that type of person. You know what I'm saying? We start like playing kind of victim. Because even if you think about, look at, the RKelly situation, the show that came out.
Surviving RKelly?
Huh?
You talking about Surviving RKelly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like most of those girls, no matter how many times people tried to pull them out, they wanted to go back. That was just the thing they had got used to. Parents had agreed to put them in those type of situations. So it really wasn't all on RKelly. We have to kind of look at like the broader picture or whatever like that. Like we're canceling him. Like you said, we're canceling him. But what about everybody else that was involved with it as well? Because everybody played a part some way, somehow. I just feel like they're human, and things happen. And I don't agree with what they did. Don't take that from this, but they are human, and I don't think they should be canceled. Period.
No, I'm with you on that one. I know. Look. Okay, like look. For instance, like I'm glad you said Bill Cosby because that was going to be something I was going to give people an example on. Is this like the things that we're talking about? Bill did at that particular time was 30 years from the point of him being arrested. Okay, right. And being charged with those crimes. But then you have somebody like Cardi B who came out and said when she was in the lifestyle, she said she used to drug people and rob them.
Right.
But we didn't give her that same energy that a lot of people gave Bill Cosby.
But think about who's getting canceled. It's always the men, the black men that's getting canceled. You know, the black women can do it. We can do it. The white women can do it. We all can do. We can drug people. Because I mean, at one point, I think T.I. and his wife was supposedly drugging people, and doing stuff or whatever. So and they didn't get canceled. They talked about it for a little while, and then all of a sudden it went away. But you think about everybody who is being canceled, they're black men. We're not canceling the black women that have done, because we out here pimping, we out here doing stuff, you know, being a madam and everything else, and it's okay. It's okay.
I'm with you on that one. I do feel like it's it's more targeted at black males.
It is.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with what they did though. But I don't think their music should be canceled. I'm not canceling RKelly, so they might as well put that one away. But I have not been listening to his music, but it hasn't been because of what he did. But I have not. I just probably haven't really listened to R&B for a minute. But it's, you know, RKelly still got my heart. The music do.
Yeah, RKelly, man, you can't take nothing away from him.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of the things that he is, you know, he admitted to or guilty, accused or whatever. And I would never condone those things. But, you know, you have the parents of those individuals that need to take responsibility for their actions and their parts in it. Sparkle ass definitely need to take part for her damn niece, because her niece was the one that was supposed to be in the video that he peed on. And the fact that she was 15, she literally, I mean, a lot of times, like Dave Chappelle said, it's like, how old is 15 at this point? You know, because at 15, I was selling dope. So my thing is that if at 15, if a person knew how to do this, and this, how is it that she just sit there and she just let RKelly pee on her? Okay, if I don't want nobody to pee on me, I just get the fuck up and move. But that's me. You know,
but how long ago? Like, that's the thing about it. You know, that peeing situation happened a long time ago, before the Surviving RKelly, you know, thing came out. So, you know, people laugh and joke about RKelly peeing on people all the time. And technically, if he needed to be canceled, he should have been canceled then, because that was just the first of me telling you that he's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, even when you listen to Surviving RKelly and they explain his childhood, he's not right. He's not okay. And, you know, and that's just something. And the fact that so many grown people continue to allow it, who was around him.
Yeah.
You have to take accountability too, because at some point you have to, you know, like, and I get it. Maybe you were scared. I don't know. But at the same time, you got to take accountability, because you knew this was going on. You was at the parties. You know what I'm saying? All of that. And you can't just now all of a sudden say, I'm going to blame him. Yeah, I knew he was doing this, but I'm blaming him. But you taking accountability too, because you knew he was doing it. Kind of like, you know, what is it? When people get arrested because they knew what was going on.
Accessory.
They're accessory to the crime. Period. Yeah. Like, all them, you telling me all them grown people that rode with RKelly was in the house of RKelly, all them knew them girls was there. All them knew that he was doing all of this. They knew that was his lifestyle. Accountability.
Nobody say nothing.
Nope. Until now.
Yeah. It's like everything that came out and shit is like everybody trying to cover their butt now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know nothing about it or something like that.
Yep.
I was thinking that maybe he just shouldn't, like, maybe they shouldn't get paid. Like, once they find out that they're guilty of these crimes, I'm like, maybe they shouldn't get paid for it. And so I think
the music anymore.
Yeah. So you know how they took RKelly's music down from Spotify. I don't know if it's back up or what, but I know they took it down from like Spotify and Apple Music for a minute when all this was going on. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people, I guess, felt like if you listen to the music on those platforms, they would still get paid for it. And I was like, you can just stop that artist from getting paid, but still keep the art up as, you know, like, because it's separate. You know, if I work at Burger King or something like that, and I do something that's unethical, does that mean you're just gonna stop eating Burger King? You know, it's one of those things. It's you have to put the responsibility on that individual, and maybe, like I said, and then like you said, if people were associated with it or had some type of knowing of it and didn't say anything, then obviously you can bring up accountability on their parts. You know,
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's his personal life. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's his personal life, and that just kind of goes back to the Olsen twins. Remember they was on drugs heavy, but
yep.
we still watching their movies. Their movies still out there for you to buy, and for you to watch, but they were on drugs, you know, and these were like, it was kids that looked up to them. So these kids seeing, you know what I'm saying, them using drugs and stuff like that, because no matter how old they get, kids, that's all, only thing kids see is them being a kid. You know what I'm saying? So now, oh, well, you know, Mary Kate and Ashley using drugs, so I'm gonna go use some drugs too, you know? So they still have their life, they still getting paid. It was just something that they chose to do in their personal life. I think what people have to understand is, and these are celebrities in general, is that when you become a celebrity, your personal life is snatched from you. It's no longer your personal life. And so no matter how much you think like, oh, I can do this because this is my personal life, this is not, I'm not bringing this into my business because my business is where I make my money. But this is my personal life, and what I'm doing, it's affecting it, because as soon as somebody find out, you over, you're canceled, you know, depending on who you are. And that's, they gotta realize, like, your when you decide that, hey, I'm taking this, I'm going to be a celebrity, understand that so much has been snatched from you. You are no longer that individual that you were when you was born on your birth certificate. You're no longer that person.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
All righty. Well, to move on to the next topic, which ties into this, because so to complete that one, I'm still listening to R. Kelly's music. I know how to separate.
I'm still listening to R. Kelly.
All right. So we still bumping and grinding over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm still watching Bill Cosby. So
already. Fat Albert.
Everything.
Already. Okay. Now, so the next one was should your personal life affect your career? So this topic was about Dominique Brown. Okay, which was the teacher of the month from Detroit that was fired because she did rap music on her part-time as I think her rap name was Drippin' Honey. And she put out a music video called Drippin' 101. Parents saw it and felt that she was a bad example for their kids, and they called for her to be fired. So, do you think, because you're actually a teacher, so give us your thoughts as far as like a teacher. See, we touched on celebrities, okay, and you separating the art from the actual personal. But now, what happened if it becomes a little bit closer to home and it's a teacher?
I was listening to someone the other day, and they were talking about motherhood. And they said as soon as you become a mother, your first name disappears. And I feel like that's the same thing as a teacher. As soon as you become a teacher, your first name disappears. You're no longer that. I am no longer Danielle, but I am Miss Spencer to my kids. So, and to even to like faculty and staff, you know, so people, I think, as you know, with being a teacher, I think people don't realize, one, we don't get paid enough. So no telling what, you know what I'm saying, the hobbies are going to be outside of teaching. And it's good to find a hobby when teaching, because teaching can literally drain you. But I just don't feel that your personal life should get in the way of what you got going on inside the classroom. Because, again, we don't make enough money. So wherever I can make money, I'm gonna make my money. What I think is happening is it's too many parents that are overstepping their boundaries.
Okay.
Because I'm not coming in the classroom being a rapper. And I'm not coming in the classroom being a podcast host. Coming in the classroom to be a teacher. Now where I do think she went wrong was when she added students into her video. I think that was just like you definitely overstepped your boundaries. Especially with your name being Drippin' Honey, and you got kids in your video, and she was like cursing and stuff. Like she was literally, and the kids was back there, gang banging and stuff. Yeah.
But I thought the video of the kids being in it came after she was fired, though.
Yeah, it probably did, but I still think that's inappropriate.
Okay.
Because now you're suing them for doing this to you. But now you just gave them more leverage to say, you can't come back in that classroom. Gotcha. How did you think this was okay? And maybe you thought it was okay because you felt like you were trying to prove a point. But man, when I say, like, as a teacher and a high school teacher in itself, and being young and Black as a high school, these kids literally, especially if you're a cool teacher, these kids are going to literally like come to you for everything, relationship wise, all of this. And because they're kids and they don't understand, they start to think you their friend for a minute. You have to like kind of put like, hold on, we not friends. I'm your teacher, but I'm here if you need me. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these kids going home, they don't have parents they can talk to. So they feel like, okay, this is my safe space. So I'm going to come talk to my teacher. But it has to be a thin line. And due to the fact that she kind of overstepped that thin line, like it kind of, that right there is every leverage for the county to say, I'm done. Like you cannot come back into this classroom. And for the judge to say, you will not win this case. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? You kind of put yourself in, you dug a deeper hole for yourself.
Yeah, she might have fucked herself up on
it. So how do you feel?
So I'm either all here or I'm always here. I'm never in the middle, so I never straddle the fence on anything. And I don't know if that's a gift or a curse on my part. But I feel that the teacher should not have gotten fired if she was keeping everything separate.
Mm-hmm.
I do think her mess up did come after she was fired because she had a better chance of probably winning the lawsuit, or which I don't know if it's still going, but she has a better chance of winning the suit if she would have just kept it where it was. I put this out, had nothing to do with the kids. I dropped this video for Drippin' 101. Parents saw it, complained about it, they fired her, and just left it at that. But now, yes, like you said, they do have the leverage now because she reacted off emotions.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I do feel like the school board should have supported her more, because you wouldn't have known about the damn music video if the parents didn't say nothing. And everything was good because y'all actually gave her Teacher of the Month or whatever it is. I think it was Teacher of the Month. Yeah, she got Teacher of the Month. So you got one of your best teachers, Teacher of the Month, but just because on her part-time or off-time, she decides to do some, rapping. I don't understand, how you just say, okay, we're just going to let her go. We're just going to fire her. And so, and then when it comes to the parents, at the same time, I have an issue with the parents of this generation because we put too much emphasis on everybody else raising our kids instead of us. So you really thought
preach.
Like how much of that video that teacher did, how much did you think that influenced your kid when you have kids on the phone. Like my kids on the phone all the time. And I constantly like, get out the phone. Get out the phone. We go out to eat at a restaurant. I just look around, seeing everybody. And it ain't just kids, you got adults to do it. And so my thing is that, you know, kids are being influenced from a plethora of stuff. So I really don't think, you know, like basically she's like a needle in a haystack. You got a whole haystack of things that is influencing those kids. But you really felt like, okay, well, we're going to fire probably one of our best teachers. Well, she had to be one of your best teachers if you gave a teacher the month. So you're just going to fire her. But why? Like what should, a lot of times we do stuff and I'm like, what is the end? Like, what was the end game? What was the end game? You fired this teacher. You got students now that probably connected with the teacher that had nothing to do with music. You now have taken that teacher out of that child's space. What was the reason? What was the point? Like, what was you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so the school system is like so hard to understand. Like and that's what me being a teacher. So I'm just give you a prime example. What really resonated with me when it came to that.
Let people know what age group you teach.
Okay.
So they really get to understand.
So I teach 9th grade. But I do, I was a cheer coach. So I had from 9th grade all the way to 12th grade. And what resonated with me the most when it came to this situation is because I was kind of in a similar situation. I never got fired though, but probably like a few weeks or maybe a month ago, one of my cheerleaders' parents reached out to she was a former cheerleader. So this little girl, probably in 11th grade, she reached out to the principal and basically told the principal I had a podcast.
Now we get somewhere.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I was approached by my boss, one of my bosses, and was just like, what's on your podcast? Like, this parent just reached out to her. And, part of the problem was the little girl didn't make the cheer team. So mama was mad. So to, get on me, she decided to reach out to them. And, my thing with that is, so before I go into my thing with that, the parent had a fake Instagram page and was following me from the fake Instagram page. And parents overstep their boundaries. That's the problem. We do when it comes to, schools. I have seen parents overstep their boundaries. I have seen parents bring, the teacher's personal business into, the school. And it's like, how is this affecting you? How is this affecting your child? It's not. And I never really got, I thank God it didn't go as far as the other young lady, the other teacher. But I mean, something was said to me about the podcast, but my podcast really doesn't have anything, ain't nothing dripping honey on it. So, it's a little different. The situation is a little different, but people do feel like parents definitely feel like they can run the teachers' lives. And it gets to a point where I had to think about it, and I'm like, do you understand how you are affecting someone's livelihood that clearly could have kids, could have a home, all of that? You worried about the wrong thing. The teacher's still in the classroom teaching, still getting good evaluations, all of that. And you worried about what they got going on outside of the school. When the school bell rings, they leave and they taking care of some other stuff because, hey, I don't get paid enough. So I'm trying to do what I want to do and enjoy what I want to do. So I'm going to do this. And people don't understand that. Parents are very, very, the education system have allowed parents to have more say-so than teachers.
Okay. Now, did you change the name like not the name of the podcast, but your name being used. Did you just do that on your own, or was it the situation?
Yeah, I did on my. I just felt like my first name was connected to my, the school and to anything that I apply to. But my middle name is not. And so if anybody come try to look for me, it could be anybody who got that middle. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Brittany's out here, a lot of Branays out here. So I just decided to kind of do it for myself, and it kind of went better. So it was Serving It Raw with Brittany Branay. So it was a smooth ride.
Okay.
But yeah.
They're taking like a lot of stuff out of the teacher's hands. They're giving the parents more say so in it. And like I said, I mean, to me, I can see. I'm not saying all. I don't know. I guess I don't think all educational places are doing this, but I just feel like the majority of them are doing it. But I feel like we're kind of lost in a lot of shit because, like I said before, when I talked to you, was our parents were the generation of just doing what you're told.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're the generation of more of the asking questions because we always ask questions like, why we gotta do this? Why we gotta do that? Why we gotta do this? And we still did the stuff that we were told, but we just wanted the details and the answers behind it.
Right.
Okay? And so now I think and then our kids are like, we've raised our kids to be like, we're not going to treat them the way that our parents treated us. And I think because of that, it's put a more soft, they're just more soft than we were. And it's like we're complaining about it, but we're the main cause for why the kids today are as soft as it is. We as parents have dropped the ball on a lot of stuff. And I ain't gonna lie. With me having 5 kids, a lot of times I don't know. Like a lot of times, I come home and shit, and then they just, Daddy, can I do, Daddy, and I just be like, damn, like I shouldn't have had kids, maybe. So you know what I'm saying? So like that, like I don't know, like it's like sometimes I just don't know where to go. Like I don't know where to. We had a pride on how we dressed, how we smelled, how we looked. 16, 17, everybody wanted to get the driving license. Everybody wanted to get a car. You probably at 16, 17, like I was. I wanted a job. As soon as I turned 16, I'm like, man, I got to get a job. Man, I got to have my own money. A lot of, and I'm not saying all the people, not all kids, but a majority of the kids that I see is like they're not working. They don't care about how they look. They don't give a damn about their license, driving cars. Like they just don't care. And it's like, I don't know, man, they're a tic-tac from killing themselves at this point.
Okay, I definitely feel like kids are soft these days. I definitely feel like that. I tell people all the time, my students, like, you wouldn't have been able to live in my household. And I hear, people say all the time that therapists have told them that because our parents told us, well, basically took our voice away when they said, you're gonna listen to what I say, is my way or no way, So they took our voice away, and now we are learning or trying to, get that voice. That's where our issue is, like, where we allow so much because we don't have that voice. And so now we're trying to give our kids the opportunity to have a voice because we didn't have a voice as kids.
Ooh, okay.
And as I continue to watch these kids, now I say, the more I say, I am going to parent somewhat like my mom parented me. Now I believe my child should have a voice, and I allow my child to say a lot, and I do ask him how his day is going, because he's 3, and I want him to learn how to converse with people, and have those type of conversations. But I do have to tell him, because sometimes he don't have no filter, and I have to tell him, you cannot say that. We're not going to say that. Or I try to change the subject so it won't come out, because I know it's about to come out. What I've learned since the pandemic, our kids are socially retarded. They don't know how to communicate. And it has nothing to do with parenting at that point. It's because the world literally is shut down. And when it shut down, these kids were in the house, and how many kids were still talking to their friends? A lot of them weren't. You know what I'm saying? These were friends in school and stuff like that. So a lot of them didn't have their numbers. The only time they really talked to them were when they were in school. And so because they are socially retarded, they don't know how to talk out things. So all we seeing is gang violence. We seeing, people killing each other, blah, blah, blah. And although research does show that back then when we were younger, it was a lot more. But right now it's I don't think they're bold. They'll shoot each other in front of somebody. We did it behind, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're not going. So that's where it looks like it's a lot more than what it really is, because these kids right now, like they'll tell you, they'll curse out teachers. They'll do all of that because they don't know how to communicate. And instead of their parents sitting them down and trying to communicate with them and get them back on track with communication, it's not happening because the parents also were involved in this pandemic, and the parents also lost communication. The parents also lost jobs. And so everybody is still going through the act of a pandemic, and the pandemic is over. And so they don't know how to get out of the pandemic. And we have to,
so they still stuck.
Yeah. So we gotta get them out. And as long as they're still stuck, these kids, they don't know what no means. They don't know what none of this means because they're socially retarded. Parents are socially retarded. You don't give my child what my child wants. Oh, I'm going to the county. I'm going to the principal. I'm going to anybody that's going to take away your job because you're not going to mistreat my child for just saying no.
Ooh.
For just saying you got to do better. You can just tell the kid, you have to do better in class. And the fact that you just told my child that he got to do better, that's a problem. Because ain't nothing wrong with my child.
Okay, so one thing you mentioned, you were talking about how a lot of kids today, the younger kids today, they don't care. They just, kind of saying whatever to teachers and adults, period.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to this topic here that you actually I was hoping that you saw this because I was like, this would be perfect for us to discuss. And that is the new reboot of our beloved TV show, Good Times. So, do you want to go first, or do you? Because I got mine all up in this brain right here on the stuff I was going to say about it. But
we can play good cop. You go first.
Go first, okay? Because I'll be like, we can play good cop, bad cop on this one. Because all right. So, I had a chance to watch some episodes of the new cartoon. Okay, on Netflix. And there's a lot of stuff I saw that was wrong with this, and there's a few layers.
Let's start at the very beginning.
A lot of the writers kind of wanted to focus more on JJ and, kind of have him do the dynamite slogan and stuff like that. So they felt like a lot of John Amos felt, and Esther Rose all felt that the thing that made Good Times so good was because they tackled a lot of issues, whether it was cultural issues, stereotypes, all that stuff in the original TV show. So for them to now focus more on the comic relief is what I feel made that start tanking a little bit, and so they end up killing off James Evans. Later on, Esther Rose ends up leaving a similar situation. Okay, and just to let people know, I kind of felt that they kind of did the same thing with Family Matters with Urkel. It's like the comic relief became the main topic, and it's like all the subject matters that you had in these TV shows weren't there no more. But to get back on topic with this damn cartoon, one thing I didn't like was, first of all, how are you having it in Cabrini Green, in Chicago when the damn projects is no longer there? Like, Cabrini Green was knocked down Hell, matter of fact, I'm finna Google it because I know it got demolished in 2011. So you don't even have the projects there anymore from the original thing. So that was one thing I didn't like about it. Another thing I didn't like about it was you got a baby snorting powder, and as much as and look, I know a lot of my viewers gonna be like, well, hell, your whole damn serving it raw thing is cocaine based. But I'm like, that's just the theme that I use for my particular serving it raw. But to have an infant doing it, he's a drug dealer. And the thing of it, he was kicked out the house. I'm like, you got an infant baby that has to sneak in the house when the dad's at work. And the mom is walking around treating him like an infant, changing his diapers and playing with him, all this other stuff. But as soon as the dad come home, she got to kick him out the house like he's like their mistress, like it's a mistress or something. And like she cheating on her. It's so like, it's so, I don't know. It's so, bruh. It's so fucked up. It's just so much in that I was just like, but you're gonna got that, and then you have the I feel like with the mom and stuff, they kind of making a mockery of Christianity. With the mom, what else you got? You still got the main character. I mean, not the main character, but you got the son, Junior. That I guess they made him the dumb comic relief, in this or whatever like that. And then the sister now, I feel, is taking up the role of what Michael was with the political aspects and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of time they kind of make a mockery of that in a sense, because you have the dad that'll make comments like, like Rosa Parks and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's just, it's all over the place. It would have been a good cartoon, I feel, had you named it something else. But to call it Good Times, you leave out the main people that are, still alive. Because the only one that's not here anymore is Esther Rose.
Give it up for Janae Dubois!
You all better watch yourselves, because I know a fake player when I see one.
R.I.P. But, John Amos is still here. You still got Bernadette. You still have all these people that could have contributed. And you could have actually created the cartoon leaving off where the TV show stopped. So you literally had Thelma that, she was going to school to be a surgeon. At the end of the TV show, she was pregnant. Oh, yeah, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I watched Good Time, but I want to say, you had that. You had
she was engaged, right? Or was she about to be? Yeah.
And then you had JJ that was going to be the painter. You know what I'm saying? So you could have showed the progression of their situation and just continued it as an animated cartoon instead of just bringing in, because I guess the dad is supposed to be like the grandson or something like that of James. And like I said, it's just all over the place. I mean, you got, I don't even know who the damn show was made for. Like, when I look at it, I'm like, who did you make the cartoon for? Did you make it for you? You didn't make it for people that was fans of the actual TV show.
When I first heard that it was coming out, I guess my impression was that it was going to be like a cartoon version of Good Times, like maybe like just redo but cartoon, so the kids can watch it. You know what I'm saying? Just be a family show. Because when I think of Good Times, like, I was a kid, I watched Good Times. I love Good Times. But and it was things that happened on Good Times. It was realistic things that happened on Good Times that you learn from as a Black family. And nowadays, I go back and I think about all the shows when we were growing up, the Black shows, these family shows. And now I see mockery of the Black family when I look at television shows. And, I saw people like Pretty V and them just also happy about, good times coming out. I'm like, oh, this about to be good. I literally could not get past the first episode.
Damn.
Like, I'm just like, what good times is this? Like, the baby, that right there, that just took it from me. I'm like, I'm literally thinking like me and Carson can sit down and watch this show as a family, and just be like, this is good times, and Carson enjoy it. I felt like it was a mockery of good times. It was a mockery of the Proud Family, like all of these good Black shows that were given to us to make the Black family look like we are, what I'm saying, amazing, like the way that we raise our kids and everything. And of course, we're going to go through, adversity and all of this stuff like that. But it's so sad that Black people continue to make a mockery of Black people in the Black family. And we can't get any further because we tend to adopt what the white people did. And that's, we make money off of what the white people did. The white people mocked us and, made mockeries of us. And so now, because that's okay, we as Black people pick it up and we like, oh, I can make money off of this. All I gotta do is do this, do that. What the hell is a baby doing selling dope?
I know, I didn't get that.
I don't understand that. Like, he in a pamper, he in everything, and he's selling dope. Like, how did you feel that? Like, to me, because I was told too that the actors and actresses of the original Good Times were upset.
Yeah,
like they did not like it.
Bernadette spoke about it first, which I did see hers, and she said that the way that it was supposed to go, I guess they brought her on kind of like as a cameo. So I don't know if they're going to end up showing that later on, but they brought her on to do like a cameo. And then I guess she realized like what it was, like they wasn't sticking to, I guess, what she thought. And so she ended up, not supporting it and not liking it. And then John Amos, he recently spoke about it about 2 weeks ago, I think. And he was just saying that he didn't think that there was nothing that they could do that would obviously live up to the original TV show. And
I made a Facebook post about it because like them little 10 minutes of me watching that show just really was like, it's time for me. I got to say something. And people literally was saying like it was degrading. It was degrading. They did not like it. And that's sad because y'all did all that just to really, for people to just be looking like, I mean, because we have it's like a Family Guy. Like, it's like we just, mocking. It's a mockery to me. So I don't know. I really hope they trash it because it needs to be trashed. It's terrible.
Yeah. They need to, like I said, that one they need to pull off. And I was a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed in Norman Lear was the guy I was thinking about that passed away that did the original. But one thing that got me was I was a little disappointed in the voice actors like that participated in it, like Wanda Sykes and JB Smooth, and I just was like, unless they were told or they thought that it was going to go a different way and they went this way. But other than that, I'm like, you got to have some type of pride in yourself.
If they was doing the script, they couldn't have thought it was going one way because clearly, I was just a little upset because I think what's the girl name? Is it Mars? Cannot think of her name. She plays in Blackish.
Marcy Martin?
Yeah, because I think she's on there as one of the voiceovers.
And Jay Farrell. Jay Farrell's on there too.
And I'm like, y'all thought that was okay? And y'all really out here advertising this. Like, I was so excited to get home and watch it. I told everybody that. I'm like, oh yeah, Good Times out. I can't wait. I got home. I telling my mama about it. I'm like, oh, Good Times, they made a cartoon. I was so disappointed. I said, this is trash. This is just trash.
Yeah.
Trash.
I watched the first episode. I think I got maybe to like a little bit over half. I stopped it. I had to go back and finish watching it after. Man, no. So I stopped it, and then I hopped on Facebook and I saw your post. Because the last couple of weeks, I'm like, we already got 2 topics. I'm like, we got to come up with a third one. So I'm like, I gotta figure something out for that third one. And I end up like I said, watching. I stopped it, got on Facebook. I saw your post. I was like, perfect. I was like, well, I'm glad you posted about this motherfucker. Yeah.
It was crazy because when I was in grad school, I actually did a research paper on the 1920s blues women and rap and the modern day rappers. And I kind of focused on Lil Wayne. And one thing that when I researched and I found, like, they talk about the black face and all of that, but how, black people have literally picked up every little thing that these, the white people talked about, us having these big booties, these big lips, all of this stuff. We pick it up, we go and get it done, or we, feel like we can like literally make money off of it. We market it to make the money. Because this is what people want to see. This is what people think of black people. So this is what I'm going to do. Reality shows, all of this. And then we get mad when other races treat us a certain way, the same way that we, marketing, we get mad at that type of stuff. And it's like, so when are we going to say, let's make money based off of who we really are? And not what other people think we are. Because most of the stuff, reality shows, all that, the mess, the drama, all of that, it's a mockery. Because half of the time it's scripted. This is not even really you. This ain't even really what you're going through. So people really thinking y'all out here beefing. Y'all ain't even beefing. But this is how I want to make my money. At some point, everything ain't funny. Like the black family, we think the black family is like, we make mockeries of the black family, and it's not funny. At this point, it ain't funny, and especially as far as that went, like, I just feel like I felt a little offended about the good times, because I was like, dang, this ain't the good times. Like, nothing is good about this. Like you said, even the mockery of Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Certain things in there is based off of how people will look at it. And if they read between the lines or whatever, or I don't know how many people thought it was funny. I really haven't got anybody that said they like it yet. But it's just one of those things where, I think when it comes to comedy and all of this, I think sometimes it gets to a point where we have to learn as black people to lead a black family out of, because we're doing nothing but hurting the black family. I mean, how do you feel about the black family?
Now the black family is so unorganized. It's no longer structured. And I look at this and I don't know. I feel like black people are the only ones that had this problem. Like we're the only ones that had this problem. We have allowed people to take certain structures out of things, and then we sit back and look at it and we wonder why it's jacked up. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I say that because I have a few different examples I can use. I can use music for one. I can use rap music for one. When hip hop was first started, it was started, and you have a lot of companies were independently owned. Okay. And black people ran like their own companies. Okay. And then they have allowed white executives that are really not familiar with the culture, but they're familiar with, you can make a lot of money off of this because a lot of people is interested in it. And so they have allowed, a lot of hip hop artists have allowed themselves to, sell their companies or merge with, the bigger executives instead of sticking to we're independent. We're just gonna take care of our artists, and they have branched out to the point where now the culture itself is so jacked up, where the newer artists really don't respect the actual culture. They're looking more at the money. So they're like, instead of them being like sticking true to themselves, because you know, like for rappers in the 90s, a lot of times when people be like, oh, you know, y'all old heads think that 90s artists are better, and it's not that. It is a thing where you have artists in the 90s couldn't come out sounding like somebody else.
Okay.
You feel like he was biting. Artists now are so focused on the money that they just stick strictly to whatever's working so that they can get money. So you can have you got like 50 rappers out and they all sound the same. So you don't know who's who, because all of them are just being like, okay, well, hey, that works. Or you need to put, or you have white executives like, well, if you want me to sign you, or you want to get paid or whatever like that, you need to put out a record like this. And so you start losing the culture. Okay. And it's happening that way when you talk about music. It's happening that way when you talk about the family. That's the reason why a lot of families, like when the grandma dies, it's kind of like the structure is over. Okay. And you can even look at it from a gang standpoint. The initial reason for these gangs was they were protecting their neighborhood from police brutality. Okay. Because you had a lot more police officers at that point that were doing stuff that was illegal. Okay. So you had a lot of gangs that were kind of started to protect the neighborhood. Okay. Now, when you automatically have a person that's running that organization, you feel the need to take that person out. You know, you've seen that with the Black Panthers. And it's just like, it's the same way for the households and stuff like that. That's the reason why I feel like a lot of the TV shows back then for Black families were more structured and more respected. When you had like Family Matters or even Fresh Prince. You know, even though it was more like a comedy, but you still had, you know, the part like when his dad came and his dad left, and then Will Smith cried to him and was like, "Why he don't want me?" And his Uncle Phil had to be the one to be that father figure in his life to be like, you know, it's okay. You know, you had a lot of those things, and you no longer have that. It's just a broken system. We don't even know where to begin to fix anything. So we just kind of go with the motion. Where I'm from, you can get your ass whooped by somebody, and then they'll go tell your mama that they whipped your ass. And then you can get it from your mama or your daddy at that point. Now it's like, they better not put their hands on my kid. It becomes that, even though your kid is out there doing wrong, we tend to believe our kids don't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem, you know, and that's what I was talking about. Like, that's like one of the biggest things. But I'm glad that you said something about Fresh Prince, because big ups to whoever the producer is for the new Fresh Prince, because it's the same thing. It's just different characters. It's really good. It still, you know, shows the Black family dynamic as being, you know, good, respectable, you know. I even think about the show All American, the same thing.
Yeah, I love that show.
The dynamic of the Black family is amazing. Dynamic of a mixed household is amazing. And now, you know, it's just hard to come across people who still want to make the Black family dynamic not so difficult. Like you said, like it's so, we don't know which way it's going. We know if it's going right, we don't know if it's going left. And the sad part about it is, you know, even with me, you know, being born in the 90s, a lot of the shows, my mama made me go back and watch half of the shows that came out before I was even born. You go from, you know, Good Times on down to Jeffersons.
Remember 227?
227. I remember watching those shows before I went to school. And I even think about, I was laughing because I even said the other day that I used to watch Gilligan's Island. And like I've literally watched all these shows, but all these shows show where people are rooted in a Black family and they respect the Blackness. I think about was the show, I don't know how I forgot this name. The show that I think Bill Cosby created this show too, with the college, Hillman,
A Different World.
Different World. Even that, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, embracing being Black. And that's the thing about it, and not making it a bad thing, but making it a good thing. So I just hope that we're able to get back into that embracing, and more TV shows come out that embrace, you know what I'm saying, being Black and just loving the color that you are, and not having all this mess that come with it, because it just be too much going on. It be too much going on these TV shows, reality shows. People be like, "You watch that?" I'm like, "I don't watch that. I'm not gonna watch that. I'm just not."
You know a TV show that I bet I know one that's underrated. Nobody even talk about. You remember Amen?
I love that show.
Yeah, so that's another one.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, you get your kids to go back and watch those TV shows, and because you ask, half of these kids don't even know who Bill Cosby is. That's sad.
Damn.
These high school students, you like Bill Cosby? They like, who is Bill Cosby? You don't know who Bill Cosby is?
Yeah.
That's bad.
See, I think that's why the Good Times thing scares me so much, because I'm like, the newer kids are gonna see that and think that's
what we watch, and we ain't even watch that.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. So, well, I have one question before we decide to dip out.
All right.
I call these my Coke session questions.
Okay. Coke.
So
all right, let's go.
Ready? All right.
Mm-hmm.
It says you can only watch one show for the rest of your life. Which one is it? A, Yo MTV Raps. B, 106 in Park. C, Rap City in the Basement with Big Tigger. Or D, TRL.
106 in Park.
106 in Park.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Should have put Cedar's World on there, because I definitely would have picked that one.
See the word?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Yo MTV Raps.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Yo MTV Raps. That's kind of when I really started like falling in love with hip hop and stuff like that, you know, in as far as that goes. So I'm gonna go with them and stuff. But I think 106 in Park is that one. That one was real good because it's like they had the freestyle battles and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
I need them to bring that back.
Yes, they do.
They definitely need to bring that back.
First thing I want to say is I appreciate you taking the time to do the episode with me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we served them raw, something real good. We connected. So yeah, I just want to give you flowers and stuff because I like to give flowers to people, not just when something happens. But I've been paying attention to a lot of things. I also know you wrote a book. I didn't want to put that out.
Yes, I did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
yes.
So if people don't know, she is also an author. So she's a teacher. She's an author. She wrote a book. I will, show that. You still selling it? Is it still on Amazon?
Yes, still on Amazon. Both books.
Oh yeah, 2.
Yes, 2.
Oh shit, my bad. See, I only know about one.
I do. I have 2. No Commitment and The Unclothed Truth. But yes, I appreciate it. I enjoyed myself.
No, look, you gave me a lot of insight. That's why I think that the whole connection between our podcast and stuff works so well, because people can get like a hip hop angle as well as a life angle, and just kind of see like how it intertwines, because at the end of the day, all of that's a part of our culture.
I think the topics that we talked about was really good. I think that it will help people and open some eyes to some some things that we discussed that I don't think that other people really think about. So I definitely need to get you on my show. I'm gonna reach out to you again so I can get you on there. But yeah, let's keep serving it raw. Both ends. Yeah.
All righty. Well, you have a blessed day, and I
You
want to say
too.
thank everybody for tuning in.
Yes. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Just make sure the coke fire. Told the jeweler cut some links and bring the gold higher.